Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hello and welcome to the Dork Forest. I'm Jackie Cation. I am your host of the Dork Forest. You probably know the websites, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com. We're all over iTunes and whoever has downloaded it and repurposed it for whatever your needs. That's right. So feel free to review the show on iTunes. Feel free to email me, Jackie@JackieCation.com, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns. Anyway, let's do the credits. Mike Rickberg composed and sang that song you just heard. He sang it with his wife, Sarah. He'll sing again his words to the Mexican hat dance at the end of the program. Patrick Brady is going to fix this audio, and Vilmos does my website. Okay. There are many ways to support the show. Let's talk about them. The easiest way is just to tell other people about the show and follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat at Jackie Cation and tell people, word of mouth. Another way to support the show financially, doesn't cost you anything, is the Amazon banner. On JackieCation.com, there's an Amazon banner under support the show. And on DorkForest.com, there's just an Amazon link that takes you to Amazon. And both take you to Amazon. You order like normal, and the show gets a little bit of a kickback. Doesn't cost you extra. It's just a way, if you order from Amazon, to help the show. More direct way of helping the show, you can give money to the show via PayPal. There's a PayPal button under the Support the Show page on JackieCation.com, and there's a PayPal button on DorkForest.com. You can donate directly. If you want to give monthly, I haven't made that easy. I don't have a monthly setup. I know that it's easy. I just don't have any time to do it. So you have to remember every month that you like the show and then give me money. So I'll use it wisely on audio cables and chocolate, whatever. Another way to support the show, if you don't like PayPal, is people have been Venmoing me money. I'll take it. That seems lovely. Jackie@JackieCation.com. It's just under Jackie Cation. So whatever. If you have listened to all 600 and whatever episodes of the Dork Forest and would like more Dork Forest, there are premium episodes, probably a dozen of them. And they are, in the last couple of years, if I do a live episode, it usually costs me some money. So I have been putting them up on Bandcamp, and they cost money. They cost $2 a pop. But if you go to the dorkforest.bandcamp.com, you can see those different shows. They're usually live episodes around the world. And there is also four stories on a sort of a handmade storytelling album that I made over there too. And those are just $1 each. So if you want to go to Bandcamp, you can do that as well. You can order merch on JackieCation.com. There are shirts and CDs and a DVD of my stand-up. There's the stand-up CDs, Circus People, It's Never Gonna Be Bread, This Will Make an Excellent Horcrux, and my brand new album, I Am Not the Hero of This Story. And they're all available as CDs on JackieCation.com. They're all available digitally on Amazon and iTunes, and you can just listen to them on Pandora and Spotify and whatever. So, but if you like hard copies, let me know if you want them signed or not. There's also a DVD of the Horcrux album, which is video. That's what a DVD is. And you can download that at comedyfilmnerds.com if you just like a download. Okay, there are shirts. There's my stand-up shirt, Spooky Reading Girl. There's also 2 Dork Forest t-shirts. So there's the Ranger of the Dork Forest t-shirt, and there is a Dork Forest logo shirt. And all the shirts are made in the United States, union made, so they run a little big because they're made by Americans. Other than that, my stand-up is available on the website, on JackieCation.com. You can watch my Conan sets. You can watch a bunch of different stand-up sets. You can, and then you can see what my schedule's like. Enough of this. Let's get into the show. It's a really good one. Hey, I'm back in my living room, and hey, you just came from yoga, Karen Rontowski.
I did. I came from yoga. I have to go off on a little tangent because I came from yoga and I bought a table There was a yard sale by my house, and it was like a big table up to the rib cage, the kind you would never buy yourself, but you always need.
Yeah.
And so I was, just before you called,
I like the idea that you would never buy yourself a table.
No, I'm on
what kind of rich life are you living that would get to have a table?
I know, and people have to balance their drinks on their hands when they come over. So it's a lot of spillage. So they had all this weird stuff that I started to look at the yard sale, and then I was like, ooh, some of it's creepy. And I was like, oh, these people do dark magic. And it was totally, so I said, I'll just take the table. And the guy goes, $10. And I go, oh, it's a good table. I'll give you 15 because I'm a master negotiator.
That's it. That is the backwards negotiation that I have seen before in my life.
And then I had to carry it home, and the table was making me sad. So I got to cleanse the table when I get home because I think it's a sad table.
People, you may not know, but you may know from that story that we're speaking with Karen Rontowski previously on the show. You've been on the show twice before that I remember offhand.
I think so, yeah.
Tarot cards, not long ago.
Right.
Not long ago. You told me to go to the dentist. Previous to that, it was with Jen Kirkman talking about ghosts.
Yeah, yes.
This time, let's talk about yoga. You know why? Because I don't have an episode for this week, and I love you for coming over to the house, and I've been meaning to talk about yoga.
Well, do you want to talk about yoga? Because I also have a dorkdom within my dorkdom, a subset dorkdom that called the Moth Man. I'll let you choose.
Well, let's first of all remind people who we're talking to. It's at Karen is it just at Rontowski on Twitter?
At Rontowski on Twitter.
And Rontowski is spelled like Rontowski, you animals. Get it together.
Rontowski.
Right. And then you have Paranormal Karen. Is the web series, is that just on YouTube for free and for fun?
It's on YouTube for free, and it's for fun, and it's on Instagram, and it's on all my things, and it's under a minute, and everywhere I go, everywhere I do comedy, I do go and investigate a paranormal place, and I do jokes, and it's funny.
And is Instagram at Rontowski as well?
Yes, everything,
okay.
Yeah.
Everything's at Rontowski. It's KarenRontowski.com. And then, is Moth Man had anything to do with your current obsession, which is also hemp oil?
Oh, well, the hemp oil I'm selling, and it's good for everyone. And I don't know what else to say about this yet. Do you use it? I use it every day. It has no.
What is it for?
Hemp oil is.
Does it get you stoned? It doesn't get you stoned.
It does not.
Come on.
There's no THC in it. It just became legal.
Boo! Oh, it just became legal?
It just became legal because marijuana became legal, so they can make it. It's if you go to my website up in the corner, it says buy hemp oil, or I'm just redoing my website, so it's somewhere. Great shoes, by the way.
And you could also maybe buy your album.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I'm making a new one. But they can donate money. They can buy something. They can buy a tarot reading.
Throw some money over at Karen Rontowski, you guys, if you want to. Before we get into yoga or Moth People, let us speak of hemp oil and what is its value?
It is Cbd oil is what they call it. And it
what does it stand for, CBD?
Cannabis, cannabinoid, something like that. I don't know the full word.
It's like the Latin...
Right.
For hemp oil.
Yes. And it actually works in a lot of things. It calms the nervous system. That's what it works. Like me, I feel that right away. It calms me down when I have anxious. But what it does.
You just rub it on yourself?
No, you just put a couple of squirts under your tongue. You hold it there for 60 seconds and then you swallow it.
Was it like that? It's a Bach. The Bach flower essence?
Yes, that's a rapid disbursement system in your body under your tongue. It gets absorbed immediately.
And I remember in the 90s. Oh, remember the 90s, you guys. I had a Bach herbal essence that was you'd squirt it under your tongue. And it was called Rescue Remedy.
Yes.
Is it like that?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's very, the one that I got involved with this company because of how good it was. It's a 96% absorbable. And it's so weird because,
hey, I'm doing laundry, Karen. I don't know if you can tell. I'm doing some laundry. I don't have my shit together today, but
Me neither,
we're going to dork out about it. Let's do it.
That's why it's perfect. I have a sad table and you have clean laundry.
I just came back from Iceland. Let's do this.
Okay.
I do some laundry.
I can't wait to hear about Iceland. So anyway, what cannabis oil does is it tries to balance out whatever in your system is off. If your sugar is off, it tries to balance it. People that have Crohn's disease are having great help with it. It really works with the nervous system. If you have anything, go Google your disease and CBD oil.
Whatever your disease is. You guys, my knee doesn't bend good. Hemp oil?
Good. And
Hemp oil good for my knee?
Yes, actually,
right.
because your knee is inflammation. So it would help your knees get uninflamed. Which inflammation is the cause of everything from wrinkles to this and that. Also, it works with ADHD when you can't focus, right?
What'd you say? And
wish we had
hilarious.
taken it now. I
Oh my
should have brought
God.
it.
Such the person.
And just email me if you have any questions, but it's a big deal.
Find Karen Rontowski online.
Yes.
But the weird thing is, and you're talking specifically, everybody, whatever disease you've got, you take it under the tongue.
Right. That's this.
That sounded dirtier in my head than it really means. Okay.
This particular brand that I'm working with, because
The
that's
CBD brand.
Yeah. In fact, I did all this
It's
research.
ingestible.
Yes, I did. But I did all this research on it, and it's amazing because I could not find one negative YouTube about CBD oil. And then even that guy that wrote Mars, Women Are from Mars and Venus or whatever, he just made a special video going, everyone should be taking CBD oil because blah, blah, blah. This is the oil from the Bible. Whatever. It's the new age.
He did not say it was the oil from the Bible.
He did. He said this is the oil they talk about in the Bible.
That makes me not like the Mars Venus guy. Because you know what else is from the Bible? A lot of creepy things.
A lot of bad things.
I
yeah.
like the Bible. I really do. But I pick and choose.
You're
I pick
like
and
me. You
choose.
like what Jesus said, probably
Sure.
only. Or pretty much.
Well, there were some other nice people in the Bible.
There were
and
some
we've
good
spoken of it before.
Yes.
Not on the show, though. We could talk. But let's get into, tell me what Moth Man is.
And then you'll pick a
I'll
topic.
pick.
Okay.
Yeah. I really do kind of want to get,
Okay.
because all right.
I don't want to over exaggerate, but Mothman is probably the greatest paranormal character ever.
Is it a comic book?
It probably is somewhere, but it also was for horror fans. It was a little bit the inspiration of Jeepers Creepers. So in 1966, and
Thank
people
you.
may get to me on a couple of dates because
Right. You're just
because
gonna
I'm not
throw
good
out
with
some
dates
info.
and times, right?
And you're just,
These guys were digging a grave in West Virginia. Okay, this is right over there's a bridge there called the
Tallahatchie Bridge.
No.
Did Billy Joe McAllister jump off of
that
it?
was a
No,
different.
That was a
Mothman.
different bridge.
And,
it was a bridge.
It was the.
It don't
Here
matter.
comes. It doesn't matter. It's a
Nope.
bridge. Well, it's important in the end, but the information will come to me by then.
Okay.
So the Mothman was all of a sudden these two guys were digging a grave and they saw a giant man with wings fly away. Okay.
Okay.
And he flew to West Virginia. And then this interdimensional being started, it had this little home in West Virginia. This went on for over a year.
It's Chupacabra. This is a Bigfoot. People have seen the Mothman.
Mothman's very different, though. Chupacabra is like an animal that we probably don't know. Bigfoot is also interdimensional, but I think I don't have the evidence, but
Almost no one does.
Yes. But this is more of what happens is the Mothman is around this city it's chasing cars. It has glowing red eyes. Okay. I know this sounds crazy.
Like a rabbit.
Like a rabbit. And it's in this area. There's all these different particles. So I'm going to give you the shell and then I'll give you the particles. People see this thing for a year. Okay. People are calling in terrified. This thing is on my lawn.
In the 60s.
In the 60s, right?
Okay.
Yep. And then what happens is the lady at the newspaper starts getting phone calls from people that are talking about events that haven't happened yet. They're saying, oh, this is, I'm talking about the plane crash and da-da-da-da-da. Next week, a plane crash. All of a sudden, if you know UFOs, you know men in black start showing up all over. Like they were all sort of looking for this thing. So they have UFO activity. They have this thing showing up. The newspaper they said the men in black, which are always trying to represent humans, they're very small. You can tell that they're not right. They're not human. And they would come into an office and pick up a pen and be like, ha ha ha. And then they run out.
No. What is happening?
No. I better slow down. I was trying to convince you that this is what I wanted to talk about.
Okay,
so I
yeah.
got way ahead.
Oh
of
my
myself.
God. We're certainly in it. We're doing it. This is what's happening, you guys.
And by the way, if anyone lives in West Virginia and goes to the Mothman Festival, please tell them that they need me to host it or to be a comedian at it because I can't wait to get there.
There is a con, is what you're telling me. There's a convention.
Yes,
not a
Mothman con.
I'm not saying it's a con. There's a convention in West Virginia regarding Mothman. So in the 60s in West Virginia.
Yes. Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Two guys digging a grave saw a giant winged creature.
Fly.
The following weeks, all over this county,
Right.
adjacent to this, where they were digging it, there were peep sightings.
Yes.
Of Mothman.
And the Mothman would chase cars. And here's where I'll slow the story down. The Mothman started to always be seen in this area called the TNT area, which was from
Dynamite.
I know.
What's happening?
The TNT area was where, during the days of the war, they used to store all the chemicals. Okay. So already this story unfolds into an area where they don't know if this is an animal that is mutated. They don't know if this is a barn owl. They have all these different things going on in this contaminated area.
Okay. Second question. At the beginning of this story, you mentioned a film. Or a story called Jeepers Creepers.
Yes.
What is that?
Jeepers Creepers is a horror film that is just the character in it is based on Mothman, kind of. It's the same.
Also from the 60s? Or
no, that's just they kind of just took the Mothman character and put him in it. So it's not really. It's a little
might
different.
Be in the 90s?
Yes.
Or 80s?
It was it's probably in the 2000s.
Oh, even later.
We're in that. Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
Well, we're the 2010s now.
Right, with the 2010s. And
we're in the end times.
I know. This is so disjointed. I'm sorry, but I am really excited.
You are which of course is half the battle. Here at the Dork Forest, you guys, I'm talking with Karen Rontowski about Mothman, who is, and so you're like, I'm on board. I'm on board with the Mothman.
Been on board for years. I own the stuffed Mothman. I own a Mothman hunting license.
Hunting license.
I have a Mothman
keychain.
patch.
You got a keychain?
No keychain. Got the patch on my jeans, sewed on my jeans, Mothman.
Do you get that in West Virginia? Where do you buy such
I sent away
an
to the Mothman Museum for it.
Oh, there's a Mothman Museum.
There's a Mothman Museum, and also there's a movie called The Mothman Prophecy starring Richard Gere.
What?
Yes.
Richard Gere.
And this is a fabulous movie, but it's sort of a compilation of many, many things that are put together in one. In other words, they took all these things that I'm trying to tell you,
right,
and they squeezed them into one character and into a movie, and that is how that's how they got that story,
right? Which
is a good movie, but it's not. It doesn't put it together. So because
there's a lot of different things going on. With a lot of different things,
and here is how it ends. Okay, I'm going to tell you the end.
We're going to jump. We're going to jump to the end. Then we'll back up.
The very last sighting of the Mothman in West Virginia after a year of this crazy activity.
Today, right here, today.
Oh
my God!
Awesome! Oh my God! How ironic that would have been.
Mothman shows up
on a sad table.
This is our new table.
They saw him sitting on the Silver Bridge. That's the bridge. And the bridge collapsed and all these cars went into the river and I think it was 54 people died. And it was because the Mothman, when the Mothman shows up, he's a prophecy that something bad is going to happen.
Shit goes down.
Shit goes down. He's never seen again. Then they do research and the Native Americans had a thing that looked exactly like that called the Thunderbird. Okay.
Right.
And the Egyptians had another thing like that. It's a car. And, if it was a flying car, the Mothman
would have flown that car. That would have flown that. The hood ornament on that car would have been amazing. Just think about that. Okay. Wait. So you're saying different cultures around the world. Everyone has
the Mothman.
I just saw the Spider-Man movie and Michael Keaton played the Vulture.
Oh.
The Vulture. Winged, kind of a bee, villain.
Yeah.
In
a bumblebee villain or a B-rating villain?
B-rated villain of Spider-Man's. And Michael Keaton, jacked that up to A because he did a nice job. Brought it up a notch.
Somebody else said that.
Nailed it.
He just keeps getting better.
He just keeps getting better until he won't. What's happening? Okay, so what is going on in my brain?
We've halted Michael Keaton's advancement.
Let's not. And so, but what is, okay, so tell me briefly about, so he's got powers.
He has red
but they're all
eyes.
negative.
He has red glowing eyes.
Okay.
And if people get too close, they get radiation burns. Real people they have pictures of people that had radiation burns because they got too close to it.
Real people.
And there's real pictures. Yeah. That were in the paper. Like, here's the thing about the Mothman.
Yeah.
It was all documented. Like, throughout time, through newspapers, there was this guy.
What's the town in West Virginia that has the silver? Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and the Silver Bridge that went over to Ohio, and that's documented too. That they had these S hooks and they all broke. That was right in December. It was right before Christmas, so the bridge was full.
Right.
And then he was gone. But the whole time, like I said, the newspaper was getting these weird phone calls of people telling them what was going to happen in the future, and there was something else. It was like they had. There were no, I'm trying to put it together now because I got so excited. I think the sad table took my information.
You're definitely going to have to cleanse that table. I have extra sage at the house. Do you need some sage?
I got Palo Santo. It blows sage out of the water.
Wow. Once you talk to the Lakota about that. Anyway.
Okay. So basically nobody knows if the Moth Man is like when he shows up, he's a guy of prophecy or if that was a coincidence. But either way, it was like some sort of a vortex opened up and all these things started happening at once. The men in black that would show up, they would show up.
Wait, when the Men in Black is a movie.
Yep.
And it's got tall people in it. And they fight aliens. What are the real Men in Black?
Okay.
And could you hear the quotes? I completely support your obsession with this.
Okay.
I do not necessarily support the reality of this. But you go.
Sure. Okay. So there's men in black that are government agents and there's men in black that are humanoids or UFOs or whatever. And they seem to be some sort of a doorway between. They seem to kind of want us not to know, or they kind of step in and protect, or they show up at people's houses if they've seen UFOs.
Or like little elf people.
Yes.
Like small, they are small people.
Well, no, they're small. They were
beings.
small back then. This is where it gets weird.
Wait, is this going to get weird? Karen Rontowski of Paranormal Karen every day.
So we're back on Men in Black. So basically, Men in Black seem to be trying to stop the flow of information. They threaten people. The humanoids that show up, just so everyone knows, you can always tell they're not human. You kind of look at them and you're like, this isn't right. Are the eyes
Because they
not
look
right?
like people.
They're trying to mimic people, but they can't quite get it right. Okay. That's also with demons. When they try to mimic people, you always can kind of tell they don't get the teeth the right size, or the eyes are too big, or something's odd.
I think you just described my social skills. I'm always trying to get it right, and then there's a fail. Then there's a little bit of an epic
but
fail.
Your teeth and your eyes are fine.
My teeth are tiny.
So
I don't
no
know
one
if you've
is
ever
scared.
noticed. People are not frightened of me. I will say that.
And so they seem to show up like they were trying to. I don't know if they were trying to dodge this Mothman thing or what. But
Right.
They were showing up. This is how they don't understand humans. They were showing up in cars from the 20s that were brand new in the 60s. So in other words, the newspaper lady would come out of the newspaper, and she would see there were all these cars from the 20s, brand spanking new, clean.
Yeah.
These guys were driving them. I don't know if they came through time with those, or they thought, oh, this is how we'll fit in, and then it didn't fit in at all.
Right.
So their social skills also probably.
A little bit on the spectrum.
Always
The Men in Black.
overdressed for the party
Always
or whatever.
overdressed and because they always think we're a little more tidy than. Remember when we were tidy in the 20s?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they stopped, but after the Silver Bridge collapsed, no one's had any sightings.
No, very few, but none like what went on for that year in Point Pleasant. I think it was a year. It was maybe a little long. Might be off on the date, but that whole area is it's fascinating with the radiation area, the TNT area where the thing seemed to like to stay. There were so many sightings that it almost was like it was undeniable at the time.
Right. So what draws you to all of these things? What do you think that when I think about, like, because you
enjoy reality.
Well, to some extent, I like. I'm out here in reality. I'm doing what I can. I took the pill that said I don't know.
Stay.
Sure, but I think that it's like, but I know that I was macrobiotic for a year in 1994.
Awesome.
Breaking some real gluten-free, except for beer. And, which of course destroyed the whole thing. But, and at the end of it, I was like, but all my problems remain. And they were like, but I think it's still the gluten, but then it might have been the beer. So, but there's like, I like all this stuff. Like I believe in it and I don't believe in it all at the same time.
But you're like, what draws me to it?
Yes.
I was thinking about that because I have probably a bad curiosity about the dark side. Like I'm a Reiki master, so I'm a light worker, but I say I'm a light to medium worker because my light worker friends, they're all like, ooh, we don't go near that. And they, you know what I mean? Like they don't want to ghost hunt and they're all stay positive. And I always kind of have my foot in each one. I like the ghost hunting is.
I think that's comedy. I think that stand-up comedy is drawing you to the darkness.
Yeah, it could be.
And because you know that the darkness, the only way to dispel the darkness is to shine a light on it.
Yeah, to shine a light.
Right,
exactly.
is to be funny.
Exactly.
And so maybe that's what draws you to some of that stuff. But all of it, like, because I mean, there are buildings full of things that I don't know. I mean, there are any number of times when I don't know the meaning of, I mean, there's just reams of things, clearly. And so I don't ever completely doubt the existence of anything.
Right.
Because what do I know?
What do any of us know?
What do any of us know?
What do I know?
I got to pay the bills every month. They're still going to come. Turns out.
Yeah.
And so
you can't tell the people at Visa Mercury's retrograde. They're going to have to wait.
No, they don't have any interest in that. It's but I also, there's a part of me that doesn't believe. That's just like, well, that doesn't make any sense because I can't see it. And I'm not a scientist and I'm not even super empirical, but I do look at something like the Moth Man and I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So,
and that's perfectly okay. And
you get that.
I get that. And you know what? If people enjoy the story, please enjoy the story.
Yes.
As what I do with it is I really like to see.
Yeah, what do you do with it?
Why I don't know. It fascinates me, but it fascinates me beyond. Like
you're listening to Art Bell. And he's gone.
So
you just listen to old Art Bell.
I know. Because George Norrie's no good. But it's especially this particular story just grabs me. And there's so many pieces to it that even as you can tell, I apologize people that are going, what the hell is she talking about? It's like there's a 3-hour documentary that I've watched like 5 times that actually pieces everything together.
Yeah.
And it's such a convoluted, crazy story, but it really has pictures and evidence and newspaper dates and all kinds of things that you kind of can't turn away. If you're going to put that much attention on it like I do, it's pretty interesting. And all these things, if I took you ghost hunting, I just took some people, I was at Zany's in St. Charles, and they said that place is haunted, so we ghost hunted at night. Immediately, we got an EVP, which is a tape recorded voice of someone who was not in the room.
Right.
In the conversation.
Okay.
So if I took you ghost hunting, I could have you, if you were like, I don't believe anything. If I took you to a good spot, probably by the end of the night, I could have you going, okay, something happened.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's where we are with everything. Something happened.
Right. And and when you're not in it later, you can go, well, the house was settling.
Right.
So, and maybe it was not.
Maybe we picked up radio waves of someone that happened to be answering the same question we asked.
Right. And I have other weirdo theories. I have dorky theories about like really great stories. I have an unsubstantiated theory about like the Lord of the Rings and the Harry Potter novels and other great literature, things that are, and I do consider those literature, quite honestly. And plenty of mystical, fantastical beasts and these types of things, and the stories of trolls and gargoyles and knights and all these things.
Right.
I have a theory that nobody's that good a writer.
Right.
That what they have done is they have glimpsed into another world, and they have channeled that story has come, and they got to write it, and so That's my theory. Now, it doesn't mean that they weren't very talented.
No.
And that their work is to be discounted. It just means that I think that the inspiration might have been possibly, I mean, and to say it out loud sounds ridiculous, multidimensional.
Yep. Ridiculous. Who are you talking to here?
Well, exactly. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to rangers out there who are like, I don't like these ones. These ones are weird. Well, there are other ones. That's what
imagination is a place, not a thing.
Oh, interesting.
Where we have access to everything. When you listen to Big Magic.
Yes.
Okay, here's an interesting
story. The
Eat,
Pray, Fuck lady.
I think she's Eat, Pray, Love.
Right. But my theory on that was that she was like, hey, why don't I tell you the story about how I slept with different guys in different countries for a year?
couldn't finish that particular book.
I like this thing a whole lot better.
Oh yeah. And she talks about how they used to say people weren't geniuses. They had genius around them. And that ideas and stories are things that are around you and they come to you when you're open to them. Right.
Oh, and then they coalesce possibly in you.
Right.
And you are the one who writes them down.
Right. And which is really weird because I am not a musician. And the other morning I woke up with song lyrics.
Oh, there you go.
And I was like, I don't even know what that is.
You're a wordsmith. I woke up this morning with a sketch idea.
Wow.
And I am not a sketch person.
See, so I let it go.
And let it go.
I let it go. I was like, this song isn't for me. Thank you, idea. Go find someone that can do it. So I told my friend Marty.
Yeah.
So Marty tells me she had a friend that had that happen once. She was driving. She got a song. She pulls over, writes the whole thing down. She gets the message. Hold on to this. It's not the right time.
Yeah.
She's in her 70s. She meets a young black man that wants to be a rap artist. And she's an old white lady. She meets the black man and he wants to be a rap artist. And she gets the message, the song's for him, gives him the song.
Right.
And now the song is out there. And here are the first lines.
And he
of it.
can
This is all
use
I know.
whatever he wants.
And it's a great song. And the first line.
Wait, did he do it? And
yes.
It's recorded?
Yes. It's
What's
out
his
there
name?
and we can find it. I'll tell you the first song lyrics and we'll find it. Cause I was like, the song lyrics went like this. It's on my mantra of the day. Oh, I wrote it on my phone. Here it is. Hold on. I was so moved by the whole thing because I do a tarot card of the day and I always have to look for a mantra. And she told me this.
At Rontowski, you guys.
Yes.
Okay.
And the card was love. The card was the best love card in the deck, which is the Two of Cups, people. And so she gave me this mantra and this is the song. We can look for it by the lyrics. Love is a magnet and we are all one, created from the same source from which all energy comes.
Okay.
And that's a rap song. So that's how that happened. And I thought, so she grabbed the idea.
Right.
And knew to hold on to it right time. So ideas are things. Imagination is a place, not a theory.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
I was thinking of giving my sketch idea to someone who works at SNL.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know. I wasn't going to wait. I also tweeted about it because it was just an idea where it would be the dating game. And remember the dating game.
Yeah.
There was one person and then 3 contestants behind a screen and the 3 contestants can't see the person.
I think this is back. I think the dating game is back on.
Well, it's been reiterated several times.
Right.
There's been different versions. So, there's myself, let's say I am the contestant who is looking for a date. The 3 men on the other side do not know that I am a zombie. And what I would like to know is if they have good brains. And so all of my questions are things like, would you describe yourself as brawny or brainy or stuff like that, right?
That's hysterical.
So I posted that and then I can't remember the name. It was a guy, I think, on my Jokesmith Facebook page, on my fan Facebook page, Jackie Cation Jokesmith. I said, anybody got any other ideas? And the guy had the greatest one and I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry, sir, if you are listening. It was, would you rather eat pie or solve for pie? I was like, that is the greatest. And there was another one that was really good on Twitter and I can't remember it. But I think, but yeah, like I don't ever write sketches. And,
right. I can't save them.
I don't. So someone, please
make that.
Have the greatest time of your life. Because it is a funny, silly idea.
Yeah, it is.
That I think people would like. So what about, you could
have the last guy has a shrunken head.
You're like, oh, well, my head's really small. He's like, all right. So not number 3 then. And, Okay, so I was just in Ireland and Iceland, and I saw a very old friend of mine who is I knew when we both worked at the hippie T-shirt shop in Minneapolis.
In Ireland?
I saw her in Ireland.
Oh, she was the one that went in the hole, right?
Yeah, she went in the hole.
What was that about?
She's a goof. She's a goof. She took us to an old Irish graveyard, and she said, "Hey, there's a hole you can crawl in here." And I said, "You're not going to crawl in the hole in the graveyard." And she goes, "Yeah." And then and as she crawled out of the hole, she made herself look like a spider or a zombie or some sort of thing crawling out of the hole. And I put it on my Instagram.
It was great.
And you're like, you're going to die in the hole.
How deep does the hole go?
The hole goes at least as deep as her body, and she's like 5'6".
Well, that would be okay, but if it goes really deep, then I'm scared.
Maureen Fitzpatrick, if you're listening to this, and she said she was going to start, email me, Jackie@JackieCation.com.
Tell me more about the hole.
Tell me more about the hole. So Maureen Fitzpatrick, though, she's one of the greatest people in the world, and she just does stuff. And that's one thing that, because comedy, if you don't know you want to do comedy, then you have to spend your life finding something. This is the way I think of it. You have to spend the rest of your life figuring out, what do I want to do?
I know.
Luckily, I knew I wanted to do comedy.
I know, and I have two things that I love. That's unbelievable.
The other one is hemp oil.
Yeah, and tarot. Yes.
And tarot. No, yeah, tarot and all that.
That's
the
amazing that I have
stuff.
two things that, all these things that fascinate me. That's a great life.
It is a great life. It doesn't matter that we are Oprah.
Yeah.
Right. And I wouldn't want to be at this. Looking back, you're just like, oh, well, thank you, universe, for not making me Oprah. Because what a pain in the ass that would have been.
Right.
So,
or not making me like a nurse.
Oh, you never
I would
wanted
have
to be a
murdered
nurse.
somebody by now.
I was talking to somebody, okay, so today I was sitting around the coffee shop, and a bunch of people were talking about how they always wanted to go into social work and helping other people. And they got involved, and then they realized, to a person, like 3 different this is an LA conversation if I've ever heard when we went to breakfast, right? And it was a table full of people, and one after another, and they didn't know that they were each saying it, but there would be this pause, and there's like, well, it wasn't what God wanted me to do, or it wasn't what the universe wanted me to do, or was it what I was meant to do? It doesn't mean it's not great. And I just wanted to go over and go, you last as long as you last in the industry of helping others. I mean, the fact that they went into it at all is amazing, right? I mean, if you last 3 years where you helped people, that's great. If you last 30, thank you. But you last as long as you last. But everyone thinks that's what, and so it is. If you found something like I have a friend who's a nurse, and she loves it, and she's been doing it for 30 years. And she's like, people are hilarious and horrible, and wonderful, and I love every moment of it.
See, that's a old soul, and that's a place I don't go. I just am not a people person. I can't protect my energy.
Oh, from others?
Right. I mean, I'm good in groups, but that kind of thing, I need time alone.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not, I don't know.
Sometimes people get energy from being around other people.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. I used to be terrible. I used to need to hide out, but I don't know. It's a different thing. Maybe we do it all at once on stage.
Right. I think that definitely.
You know what
she's not this my friend who's a nurse. It's not that she's not selfish either. She's super selfish.
Sure, but she does what she does with joy,
because she
with
loves
a certain amount of joy. Yes.
Yeah, she loves helping other people, but she's also super selfish in other ways. So she's I mean, it's not like she's like an angel. Right. Like people are like, what an angel, and you're like, no, she's a person. She's a whole person.
Your car if you're parked in her spot. She will.
Oh my God, the mocking. There's a great deal of sarcasm in the life of Elizabeth. And
yes, but you know what too? This is the other thing. I think sometimes we think too much. Like people always want to find their purpose in life.
Yeah.
Maybe your purpose is just to have fun. Maybe you served your purpose in 2nd grade when you did something then, and the rest is just about having fun. Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh, I thought you were going to say the rest of it was just treading water. I was like, you had the most fun when you were in 2nd grade, and now, well that was it. Good times.
Now the rest is free sailing. Now you get to do what you want.
Well, except for there's a part of me, and that part of me I like to call gramication, that wants everyone to get a fucking job.
Well, yeah, you have to sustain. You have to.
You can't be a
part
burden.
of society.
Yeah, you have to be a part of the part of the herd, and it doesn't mean like the best advice I ever got was right after the election. It was from my friends, my various friends that I was complaining to and being scared at, and most of the ones that were people of color were my black and my brown friends were saying, yeah, we got screwed again.
Right.
And you have to, but the thing is they said, so you just got to keep going and you got to make sure you're of use and you got to go forward. But you also, and to a person, they said this, half of them don't even know the other. Cause some of them are comics and some of them are, other friends from other.
We're civilians?
Civilians. And, but to a person, they said, you have to make sure that you're happy.
Right.
And that, I think, just spend some part of your day having some joy or try to be, right? Because the bastards do not want you to be happy. So fuck them and be happy. And, plus the added bonus is you're happy.
Right.
Which will really get the bad guys.
Yeah.
But I think
Find
that
something you love that's not a person.
Oh, there you go. And
knitting, driving, whatever. Horses.
Right. And it doesn't, oh my God, I saw the greatest tiny horses in Iceland. They have their own horses. You can take Icelandic horses, which are, by the way, a little bit bigger than ponies. So they're adorable. And they have shaggy coats because it's always cold. I was there in
You can take them
August.
on planes.
You cannot take Icelandic horses on planes.
Oh,
to my
you can
knowledge.
take little service horses on planes now.
People have lost their mind with the service animals. You were
I
on
don't
the
know what
ground
the
floor.
service
You were the
pony
ground.
did. I
You were in the
always
ground
have
floor
been.
of service animals. By the
I
way,
was, but you know what? The pony, I've never seen one, but I don't know what the pony service animal does. I believe it pulls a wheelchair, but that might be a very large wheelchair. That's more of a carriage. Maybe they're for
we
the
have
Amish.
electricity. We have electricity to pull wheelchairs.
It's true.
You know, it's a big comedy trope right now. Is everyone's making fun of the service animals?
Oh, I know.
There's a lot of
And
bits.
You know what else? They're making fun of the vegans. Like so many times before.
Vegans have been they've been in the crosshairs for years.
Yeah.
The service animal thing is sweeping the nation.
Yes, and what else am I that people? I'm like the stereotype, which is funny because a lot of times it's made fun of, and then I get up and then I'm the anti.
And I have a service animal joke that now I don't want to do anymore, except for that my service animal joke,
'cause of
like many of my jokes, there's no, it's not dumb.
Right.
Hi, I would like to announce that I am a great comic. Okay, so no, but ridiculous.
You're a thoughtful comic that puts a lot of work into what she does.
Well, there you go. So it's not just like service animals. You don't need that service,
You're
or
stupid.
you're stupid and what the fuck. And mine is I want to pet your service animal, and I can't pet your service animal because your service animal's at work.
Right.
And there is some small. And then I make fun of the idea of service animals, which I think is universal. But even people who have service animals are like, yes, it's ridiculous. And yes, I'm better because of this animal.
Yes, that's helping me.
I have to tell you, your dog, Courage, is a tiny papillon. And
Smart as anything, just got over being sick.
just go. Well, thank God. And but the service that Courage has provided, I think, very real. And you're a very different person from pre-Courage, post-Courage.
Yes, I am.
So-
in so many ways. And also, I have to tell you this funny story. In Walmart, a little girl wants to pet Courage.
Sure.
And I say, thank you very much for asking, because most little girls don't. And then I say, but you can't because he's working right now. And she says, what time does he get off work?
That's it. That is part of the joke that doesn't work. My service animal joke, which is that they can't possibly be working all the time. Isn't there some downtime? Is there a union? What's happening?
Well, they, it depends on their service, and they're usually supposed to be in tune to the person's body chemistry.
What if I
sense of
need that
smell.
service? What if I need that service? What if I need to cry into the fur of that dog?
Well,
what about that?
You need to get your own smelly dog.
No.
You're talking emotional. You're talking emotional. Yeah, it
Or
depends.
any, yeah.
An emotional, okay. Therapy dog is the one people bring that you should pet. He's there. In fact, they have them at
PTSD?
the Albany airport. Sometimes they have a pig at the San Francisco airport. Oh. It's where I need a hug and I'm going to pet this dog, and this dog is meant for you to pet, and he wants to be petted. An emotional assist animal is one that somebody carries for anxiety or nervous or stuff like that.
Right.
A service dog has a medical purpose.
Or like a blind, lead the blind.
Like a blind or an epilepsy or a, whatever you have. That's when you get into service monkeys. Guy can't use his hand. Monkey uses his hand.
Just was in Iceland, and the last day, Andy and I dressed up like Vikings. Got our portraits taken dressed as Vikings. Look forward to that, people, because when we get those pictures, they'll probably be online.
And Jimmy Pardo makes fun of me for being the only person that watches Vikings. It's a great show.
I'm told it's a great show.
The best female characters ever.
Ever. Well, there you go.
Yes.
But what I have to say is that the guy who shot us, who was the photographer, he had a dog, and it was a giant kind of looked kind of like a Saint Bernard, but smaller, a little bit denser, kind of than because you know how Saint Bernards are giant and they drool a lot.
Yeah.
But
tidy Saint Bernard.
It was kind of a tidy Saint Bernard. His name, her name was Xena. Because it was a Viking portrait studio, and his girlfriend, it was his girlfriend's dog, and he said, "Oh, she's a rescue dog," and I said, "Oh, that we're from Los Angeles. We know that when you've rescued," and he said, "No, she
rescues people in earthquakes and stuff.
She's a SAR dog. She's a search and rescue dog." Right. And I was like, oh my God, that's an entirely different word here in Iceland. When you say someone's a rescue dog, you mean the dog's job is to rescue people in the snow and ice.
You know, I thought, because Courage was, when I got him, he was 3 pounds, and now I think he was supposed to be 7. He's been sick. He's 6, but he's back on track.
Okay.
The diarrhea's gone.
TMI.
He was so small, I was looking to see, and he's so freaking smart that I almost wanted to train him as an earthquake search and rescue because he could get into such small places.
But you knew somehow that there wouldn't be an earthquake.
Right.
When did you move here? I moved here in like 97. And the big earthquake was in 94. Were you here?
Was I in San Diego at that time?
With the Northridge?
I have no concept of time.
Well, it was the 90s.
I can't remember things, and I don't keep things from the past, so I don't have to think about it. I'm all look forward.
Okay, well, you would have remembered if you lived in North Hollywood in 1994.
Oh, no, the big one, Northridge?
The Northridge one.
Northridge, I was in San Diego, yes, and I felt it in San Diego. It woke me up in San Diego.
Right, Andy was in Westwood. And of course, he was a Quaker faker. He woke up 3 blocks away. No, I'm kidding. He said it was bad, but he was like, it wasn't as bad as clearly it was in Northridge. But it was, everybody's, stuff was out. But we haven't had it, and we can knock on plywood. See, I have superstitions. I'll knock on a thing. And, but it was, yeah, so you knew that there would not be a 94 level earthquake that Courage would need to search and rescue for people.
Right. I didn't think so.
Yeah.
But dogs and they're doing all different things like that. And they have cancer dogs, the dogs that smell cancer.
What?
Dogs can smell cancer.
Dogs can smell cancer.
Yes, they have special dogs that work to smell where cancer is.
Why isn't that happening
more often?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The busy dogs? Super busy. There's only 6 of them that are trained.
I know. That's like there's a cat.
Cancer's a big deal. Everyone's got it.
I know. Well, you know what, though? You know what helps cancer?
Wait, is it hemp oil?
Yes, it does.
Up high, down low. Cut the pickle.
What's the, oh,
get a tickle. Yeah.
Wow, that's
with
new.
Toddlers. I'm hit with toddlers. That is something I've always worked with my nieces and nephews. Anyway.
And apple cider vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar is good
you're
for...
supposed to do it keeps your pH, I think, everyone check this information. It keeps your pH level balanced so that cancer cells can't grow or something like that. Mm-hmm, There's so much, well, you know what though, but I eat organic-y, like I eat pretty,
hippy
skippy, seaweed and...
So my friend Maureen Fitzpatrick in Ireland, we woke up...
In the hole.
From the hole. who crawled in the hole. She drove us all over that and showed us all over that peninsula of Ireland. And she is a gardener, and she cooks. When she first moved there about 10 years ago, she cooked at the Buddhist Center. And she does dairy. And she'll eat meat, but she doesn't really cook it at the house and stuff. So it's just sort of a treat.
And
when
they
she's
don't
out.
treat their cows like we treat ours here. So it's probably not.
Well, there's only 9 people
There's
over
9
there.
people. So they're nicer to the cows before they eat them,
can
which
talk
I'm
to
all
them.
for.
It's whatever happens. It's I'm gonna have a lamb stew. That was I'm gonna tell 3 stories at once. Why don't I finish this one? So we wake up one morning. We're staying at Maureen Fitzpatrick's mom's house, who has a 2-bedroom. They're from Iowa, by the way, and but they've moved to Ireland, and that's where.
What's that about?
Well, Maureen Fitzpatrick is of Irish ancestry, and her mom, Marlene Fitzpatrick, and her dad, who is passed, her parents used to go to Ireland a lot. And so Maureen married this Polish guy who about 15 years ago, and he was they're in the EU. So Bigos was like, hey, you want to live in Ireland after we busk around Europe?
I have to laugh. Our stories, this could be the disjointed Dork Forest. Nobody knows anything more about the Dork Forest or about Moth Man than when we started. No,
Nope.
I don't know what you're talking
But
about.
we know that it exists. What we've given you is a syllabus, you guys. This episode is a syllabus of things to
you
look
wanna
up.
Get documentary called Eyes of the Moth Man. Now I'm done with Moth Man.
Okay, and Karen Rontowski, you guys, Paranormal Karen on the YouTube.
But
and
I
Instagram.
didn't want to interrupt your story. But I just thought it was
Too late.
Did we even? I know, but I have to apologize to the people. We literally rolled this together at 10 minutes before I got here.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
You were like, I'm coming from yoga, and I said, then we'll talk about yoga. We are at minute 45. Yoga has been mentioned, but that's all I know is that I want to take yoga, but I don't want to take yoga. I want to take yoga, but I don't want to take yoga. Does that make sense? I don't want to do it, but I got to do something because I am no longer bendy and there's trouble.
Oh, yeah. And bendy's the anti-age.
Bendy's the anti-age, and it's
And-
also a great way to bend.
Yes.
I'm a super big fan of bending.
You release more emotions and energies that are stuck in your body through yoga.
Sure. All right. Well,
Especially
I
your
looked
hips.
into your yoga. It looked super intense. It looked,
Not a
I'm looking
C1.
for
Not
I'm
a
looking,
C1.
I'm looking for idiot yoga.
I don't know if there's a thing, but my yoga, when they don't have the heat on, there's some classes that don't have heat. Very simple, very explanatory.
You know, Maria lives by an old person, like a senior center, and she would occasionally go and
Do chair yoga?
It was chair yoga. There was also something with a ball. You would walk across the room with a ball. Most of the people in there were in their 80s. She was like, it was kind of soothing. I kind of liked it. And it was $15, so I did it. So
Well, I know about
it might be a way to start, is what I'm saying. But I'm not driving to Eagle Rock.
No,
So-
I think it could be discouraging. But no, go to a C1 at Core Power Yoga. My
Core Power
favorite.
Yoga, your favorite.
And,
There's a couple of them. It's kind of a small chain of sorts.
Oh yeah, in fact, right now it's the largest growing gym, I believe, in the world.
Oh, so it's a big chain.
It's really good,
And it's
but
blowing up.
But but you, so you want to do yoga, but you don't want to do yoga.
Right, I don't want to actually do anything. I would just like to sit here and have someone move my parts for me.
Yeah,
I think that's what Oprah does. That's the only reason I want to be
I've read
Oprah.
a lot of people have been trying that for years, not
Not working out
not
or
working
anything.
out. No.
Interesting life choice. Maureen Fitzpatrick, by the way.
We're back
Made
to
her
her.
own,
Yes, that
made her
moved to
own
Ireland.
yogurt.
Oh,
Yogurt. See?
there's 2 Irish guys that make 5-minute vegan cooking videos that are fabulous.
Where do they live? Do they
I don't
live
know.
by
We're
Cork?
we're going grab an idea, segue, and go.
Grab an idea and go.
I went with Irish and vegan. I don't know, but they're very good. I made my brother-in-law made me a black bean hamburger that was delicious with
I love a veggie
nutritional
burger.
yeast. Then I learned about nutritional yeast. A lot of B12 tastes like cheese. Huh? Who can go wrong with that?
No one can go wrong. Here's the other thing about Iceland. They say the national food of Iceland. They keep saying, have you tried the meat soup? We have this thing. It's an Icelandic dish, the meat soup. And so for, 4 days, we're wandering around. Nobody's serving the meat soup. Finally, we go somewhere just for the meat soup. You know what we call meat soup here in America?
Stew?
Soup. We just call it fucking soup. It just has meat in it. It was lovely. It was a great, this version of soup was a lamb soup. It had lamb and root vegetables and really good herbs. And of course, it was $25.
Wow.
But everything was $25 to $50.
Iceland, really expensive. I've been to Greenland.
Cheap to get there. Once you set foot on it, you know how you're like, people say it's expensive? I thought they meant double. Nope. No, they're talking triple, quadruple.
Wow.
You want a cup of coffee? $9.
Wow, because I'm going to Australia again, and I thought people said Australia was expensive, and I did not find it expensive at all.
No, Australia's fine. Australia is comparable.
Yes.
It is,
Yes.
it is fine. Ireland was fine. It was only, there was a knit hat that was kind of cute. Thought about getting it. $45.
Wow. See, now there's people.
They have sheep. They have the wool. They have the people. It was handmade right there in Iceland.
I could make you one with yarn that's $4.99 at Joann's.
Can you put Viking horns on it?
I could try. I'm sure that pattern's on Pinterest.
I'm sure I'm sure it is. Now we're going into crafts, you guys. You guys, crafts. I have the greatest slippers in the world that look like Converse tennis shoes that Karen Rontowski made for me. Made a pair for me, made a pair for Andy. We wear them in the winter.
I'm going to turn the interview around, though. I want to ask you about Iceland because I was in Greenland, but what they say,
You went for the
them
troops,
wrong.
though, right?
Yes. They named them opposite because Iceland is the one that's really green and Greenland is the one that's really ice, right? And they did that so that people wouldn't go to the prettier one so they could have it to themselves and charge $45 a hat.
Right. And it's over because now they want everyone to come. And then you're trapped there and you got to spend $45 for a hat.
Did you see Michael Moore's movie, What Country to Invade Next?
Nope.
It was
Ask me if I will.
Oh,
Nope.
It was the greatest movie misnamed. Because what he did is he went to each country and saw the best of each country. Like he went to France and he saw what they feed the kids in school.
Yeah.
And how good the food was. And then he went to somewhere else and saw their healthcare system. And then he went to Iceland and it was what happened was in the big fallout where where money fell out. What happened?
2008, 2009.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole country women were in charge. And the bankers that did that are all in jail. Like they had how we pussyfooted around and, well, somebody's going to pay, but maybe not. And we're going to bail them out and we hope.
Right.
No, people, you did it. You're in jail.
Right.
Like they said. And they also, bailed out the people's debt and they did not go into, you got to see it. It was really a great movie that he totally named wrong.
Is he in it?
Yes.
Is he talking with his mouth full?
He's there.
He is got his heart in the right place, but he's a blowhard. So it is hard for
And
me
he
to
doesn't
sit.
walk the walk?
No, I don't care. I don't care if he walks. I mean, I like a good story as much as anybody, but seeing his talking face makes me go, stop lecturing me.
Oh.
I always feel like I'm at a lecture series I didn't ask to be at, except for that. If I go see a Michael Moore movie, I did ask to be at it, didn't I? Right? So and it doesn't mean that his heart's not in the right place and that he is not often correct.
Right.
But I don't know. Like he's like, I don't know. He's one of those guys who's like, we should line them all against the wall and shoot them. And you're like, well, there's part of me that's like, yeah, that'd be great. And then I think it through like I do. And I think, oh, and then the world is on fire. I don't know if you've ever been to a war zone.
Wait, Michael Moore? You think Michael Moore is? I think he's very peaceful.
He wants, sure, yes.
Okay. And now I'm going to segue Weird Out because
Why not?
I like Michael Moore's Twitter feed, but this is the segue I don't follow many celebrities. I follow Michael Moore. Two greatest celebrity Twitter feeds I love. Stephen King.
Right.
And Mark Hamill.
Okay.
And just so, Stephen King, if you don't like Trump, it's the best. It's the best.
I'm reading my first Stephen King novel.
Which one?
It is the young adult novel that is just now being made into a movie called the Dark Tower series. It's called The Gunslinger.
Oh.
Did you read that?
Nope.
I have tried to read other Stephen King novels, and it has not worked out for me.
Is that part of The Stand?
I don't know. I know in the foreword he talks about The Stand a fair amount.
Then I may have. The Stand
it's
was
old.
very interesting.
Right. So what I have always thought about Stephen King is that he is scary, and I do not like scary.
Right, but he's kind of not. He was the Green Mile.
Right. And he's also Stand By Me.
Right.
And so I thought a young adult title be less creepy, and it is. It's pretty creepy, but it's just creepy in a way that it's a post-apocalyptic world, and there are demons and ghosts and bad guys, and the gunslinger is chasing the man in black. And you're like, oh, I like a simple story where the gunslinger is chasing a man in black. And then he runs into a young boy, and the young boy is he's a bit of an old soul, and the gunslinger's like, I kind of love this kid. This kid's kind of awesome.
I think I did read this.
All right, there you go. And now it's going to be a movie. And they're called The Dark Tower, and it might actually be out already.
I'm writing a novel-ish about paranormal investigators, a fiction that I might turn into a podcast. Like if I can get it, like where you read for half an hour.
You still have the pod?
Yeah, Karen and Kira can read. Oh, big
Kara
deal.
and Karen, why didn't, because I'm on it. I did it.
Yes.
And so it's Karen and Kira can read.
Yes, and we read, I read tarot and she reads energy for the comics.
Right, and she pets your hand.
She pets your hand.
And talks to you about
When does this come out?
Tuesday.
Oh God. Okay, so we
Like 2 days from here.
We are taping our podcast at Flappers in Burbank the 18th.
Okay.
The day after my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. At Flappers in the Burbank Comedy Festival at 5:00. We would love a crowd.
Yeah. So the 18th is
August 18th.
Is when? Is it a Friday?
Friday afternoon at 5:00.
Friday afternoon at 5:00. If you live in Los Angeles and are listening to this,
Burbank
you should go
Flappers.
see Kira Sultanovich and Karen Rontowski in Kira and Karen Can Read. Or
Very
Kira
entertaining
and Kira-
podcast.
Very entertaining podcast where you reveal. Did you release the one with Lori Kilmartin?
We did.
Awesome, where she was just made furious by the revelations.
Yeah.
And she was like, well I don't know.
Sometimes it goes awry. But that's not. That's
not your fault.
It's not necessarily our fault. Yeah, I think sometimes people have never had readings and they don't know what it's about.
I've paid $20 over at the psychic guy. I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah, and that's what I do during the day. I read tarot cards.
All right.
So, and recently I've had some crazy people that I can't read.
Oh yeah, that'll happen.
So,
well, we're getting close here. It's 56 minutes.
And I apologize that the Moth Man was a little scattered. I will gather that information and we'll do this again sometime when you're not ready.
Well, don't touch his wings. I mean, that's the
the radiation, the red eyes. And there's, just so you know, there's a Moth Man beanie baby that went for like $100 on eBay. You can't find it now. That's how, this is really insider information I'm giving you.
It really does feel like it. It feels like the Mothman has really got a cultural, that people that have somehow connected to the Mothman.
They're starting to see sightings of them in Chicago, as though something's going to happen in Chicago. Eyes of the Mothman, best documentary. Starts out with the first part's a little, keep going. Okay. It was great. And then Paranormal Karen's the web series. That's if you only have a minute. They're only a minute.
They're a minute.
And, then, hemp oil. Everyone can use it. You can buy it from my site. You can email me any questions you have.
Is it vegan?
Yeah, absolutely. Vegan, no animal. Yes.
It's made out of hemp.
Yes. And it's legal. No THC. Doesn't make you high.
Doesn't make you high. And that Bach flower essence, that's all got liquor in it. It's all got alcohol. It's alcohol based.
Ah, I didn't know that.
It helps the essence of whatever flower that is involved.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Soak into your body.
Oh.
And I set last story that makes no sense for me to tell you because I just got off a plane yesterday and I live tweeted this. I was sitting next to a guy from Iceland. And he spoke to us. I did it all, by the way. I had headphones, movie playing, and reading a book. So that
oh, wow.
And I was on the internet.
Wow.
Just to make sure the guy sitting next to me, because Andy had the window, I had the middle. Guy sitting next to me got on, sat down. He didn't sit. I don't think that was his seat.
Oh.
We were sitting in an exit row. And after the door closed, guy dropped his bag. He moved. He did the old move. And then he went to the bathroom, came back, and he smelled like booze. And I have booze triggers. I'm not the best person. I have issues. So who's got the real problem is that I was like, this guy. And I only noticed after he ordered, he was like, can I get a double Jack and Coke from the stewardess as she walked by? and flight attendant, lady working, saving lives, and a guy working, saving lives. And so the flight attendant is like, yeah, and brings him 2 bottles of Jack. And so in the first hour, he drinks 4.
Wow.
He drinks 4 bottles of Jack with Coke. Yeah. By the end of the flight, he had drank 10. 10 tiny bottles of Jack with 2 Cokes. And then got a cup of coffee as we were landing. And
he wants to be okay to drive.
Right. Well, they slow played him. We flew into Minneapolis. They slow played him twice. Like
What's
at
slow
6,
played?
where they were like, I'll go get that. And then didn't come back for like a half an hour.
Okay.
And then the second time, Andy and I had switched seats because he had noticed as well. And he was like, hey, do you want to switch seats? I'll sit next to the drunk guy for a second. And so he sat next to him for the second half of the flight. And he said at one point, the guy asked for 2 more, a double of Jack and Coke, and the flight attendant just patted his shoulder and said, yeah, right. And walked away. And then so he asked a different flight attendant who just went and got him.
Wasn't up on the situation.
Yeah, it wasn't right. Well, he would trade. It would be like changing between your mom and your dad. And then we get to Minneapolis. That's the first place we land. And Andy sees him like an hour after we land. We're getting on the plane. He's like, "There's that guy," and he was staggering away from. But he was in Iceland for a month. He was a geologist working on an island in off of the coast of northern Iceland. And northern Iceland, all of Iceland, is just a giant pile of thermal energy. Did you know that?
No.
All they do is process the therms, the heat coming out of the earth.
Okay.
And that's how they create their electricity.
Oh, wow.
So they have to process, they have electricity bills because of the processing, but they don't have nukes. They don't have electricity. They don't have coal. They have a thermos. They each live in a thermos. And I did stand up, and got to see stand up. Funniest thing about that was that they, what happened when the audience didn't get a joke and they got mad, the comics, they didn't go dark because they started dark.
Oh.
They started super dark. They went silly. They went puns. It was weird. I don't know. The weird Iceland stories.
So what happened to the drunk guy?
The drunk guy, he just staggered off into the Minneapolis airport, lives in Salt Lake City. So my speculation was that...
he can't get alcohol on a Sunday in Salt Lake City.
Right, and we were flying on a Friday. And Salt Lake City is a lot looser than it used to be.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You can get a cup of Joe. You can get a cup of Joe. You can get a beer. You can do whatever you want. Probably a Jack and Coke if you needed it.
Yeah. Well, okay.
That's that story. He's no Moth Man. That's no Moth Man. That's no way to close the show.
I'm so sorry.
But we're going to do it. We're going to end it.
I apologize to anyone that hated this version of the podcast. It was me. We had 2 minutes and I got all excited and I was like, well, I'm going to talk about Mothman.
And you did. We learned. I had never heard of Mothman or Jeepers Creepers.
Mothman's coming up. Jeepers Creepers is not for you.
Oh, no.
It's terrifying.
No, any number of things are not for me. That's been established. Hey, Rangers, thanks for tuning in. Karen Rontowski is all over the internet. Find her, buy some nonsense, buy some other things that aren't nonsense.
Right.
And
if you live in West Virginia, tell the guy at the Mothman Museum to book me as a hostess or a comedian at the Mothman Festival next year.
Yes, please. And Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat, my hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?